There are not many games like Silent Hill 2. Maybe the other Silent Hills, but not quite like this one. It stands out. And it stands out for a reason. James Sunderland. James is our main protagonist, the hero of the story. We meet him first staring at himself in the mirror of a rundown and seemingly abandoned toilet. As we step outside, we learn why James drove here, why he came to this dead-end stop, why he came to the end of the road. His wife wrote him a letter asking him to come to their special place, Silent Hill. But his wife is dead. She died 3 years ago from a disease. So maybe he came here to figure out if she is somehow still alive. Somehow in the town of Silent Hill, his wife is still here. Silent Hill is a small, innocuous rural town in Maine. On the surface, it is portrayed as a peaceful town with beautiful architecture. Truly a town made for relaxation. But before we even arrive in the town, James gets swallowed by the fog. A thick, ruling mist obscuring all that is in front of James, like he can't see what the future holds. He is surrounded by the fog, so he can't see the past either. He is stuck in this time, in this town, with nowhere to go. It's like a thick wall that separates James and this town from the rest of the world, trapping them in a never-ending cycle of reliving their memories, their own shortcomings, their failures. Before we get to the town, we meet Angela. She's also here looking for someone, her mother. On James's path, looking for his wife, he will run into a handful of people, all looking for something in the town of Silent Hill. They all came here for a reason. The town of Silent Hill is abandoned. Grass overgrowing, spilling onto the pavement. The houses are derelict, dilapidated. Trash bags lay on the street. And most of the houses are even boarded up. Boarded up due to the aftermath of a storm, which has left the area in complete ruin. Not much later, we run into our first moving thing. You see, this town is overrun with entities, masses of flesh roaming the streets, occupying the houses, sliding across the roads. But James pushes onward, using a board with a nail in it to defend himself, getting deeper and deeper into the darkness of Silent Hill, engulfing himself completely in the town's presence. In a way, becoming part of it. But there are some entities that stick out even among these. Like Pyramid Head. An entity towering over James, carrying around a massive hunk of steel, a sword that in itself is almost as big as James. An unkillable monster that James can do nothing to but run. Abstract Daddy is another one. a horrendous monster seemingly there just to torture Angela. The entity seems to be two bodies in a bed wrapped in bed sheets, one dominating another. And finally, a horrific beast strapped to a bed, spitting out butterflies and using the metal poles of the bed to swipe at James. We realize at the end of the journey that James never came here because he was looking for his wife. He wanted to end it all, to be with her, because he felt guilty. He felt that when Mary was in the hospital, she was a burden to him. Mary, because of the disease, became very withdrawn, pushed James away, argued with him constantly, making it harder and harder for James to take care of her. This, of course, made James feel guilty because he did love her, but he couldn't go on like this. He begins to resent her in a way because of all of it. And in the end, he takes her life. He suffocates her with a pillow, maybe to end her suffering, to give her somewhat of a dignified ending, or maybe because of his selfish desire to put an end to all of it, to be free again. Run! Pyramid Head is a manifestation of James's guilt, always running away from it, but never truly getting away. Representing James's desire for punishment and inner turmoil, hunting him, haunting him. Abstract Daddy is the manifestation of what happened between Angela and her dad. A real-life version of the trauma she went through, reflecting her feelings of shame and self-blame for what happened. The final entity is Mary, transformed by guilt, shame, and pain. James gets her confused at first with Maria, someone else he meets here in this town.
James?
Strangely similar to Mary, but we know that Maria isn't real. She's another entity. Maria is Mary, or to be specific, Maria is what James wanted Mary to be, the ideological version of Mary from before she fell ill. She embodies all of the things that James missed. She is promiscuous and seductive because of the loss of intimacy in their marriage after Mary fell ill. She is sweet, kind, and understanding because Mary had pushed him away. She became argumentative. She lashed out in response to her terminal illness. Maria is the complete opposite of these things. The nurses in the hospital are the same. They are faceless because they represent what James lusted over, the body. They are very scantily clad with stockings. Their chests are very exposed, and they make seductive noises, representing the urges and desires that James had when Mary was hospitalized. In the end, when James finally gets through all of it, James just leaves, leaving the town behind. James Sunderland's journey through the haunted town of Silent Hill is not a straightforward path to overcoming guilt. Instead, it is a psychological descent into his own guilt, forcing him to confront his past actions and their consequences. This is also where my favorite theory comes into play. The loop theory. The loop theory in Silent Hill 2 suggests that James is trapped in a cycle, like a sort of purgatory, endlessly reliving the guilt and punishment for his actions. But Silent Hill is a real place. It is not just a layer in between heaven and hell, or whatever you would like to call it, but a real town where real people live, and everyone who comes here experiences the town differently. James sees it as a misty hellscape filled with entities hell-bent on making him suffer.
Mama?
Angela, on the other hand, sees the town as constantly burning, a literal hell. It probably represents the torment and pain she has to live through because of the trauma she had to endure at the hands of her father. Angela also doesn't see any monsters. She doesn't even carry a weapon throughout the town, only a knife, and James takes it away not that far along into his journey, but this was to protect her from herself, as she wanted to use it not on monsters, but herself. This is because she believes she is more of a danger to anyone than any monster could be. And lastly, there's Laura, a little girl who at first seems very out of place in Silent Hill, running around, playing, drawing on the walls. But this makes perfect sense because she doesn't perceive the town as dangerous. She's innocent. There's nothing for the town to cling on to, no baggage to manifest, nothing to contort into horror. She just feels lonely without a friend. Mary. James Sunderland is caught in an infinite cycle of torment within the town of Silent Hill, forever leaving him to reimagine the pain of losing his wife, forcing him to face the fact that he did, in fact, kill his wife and put her body on the back seat to drive to Silent Hill, all because of a letter he got. But by the end of the story, the words on the letter have all but vanished, leaving an empty letter, an empty paper, leaving it to the observer to realize that James never got a letter. Maybe the town called out to him. Maybe he called out to himself. He wanted to suffer. We know that much for sure. So maybe in a way he got himself here. The looping theory is just that, a theory. But there are some things here to verify this theory. At some points in Silent Hill, James will just stop and stare at places, like he'd been there before. Not in a "I've been here with my wife years ago" stare, but a deja vu stare, like he'd been there the day before. There are also pictures strewn about Silent Hill, strewn about the place. Pictures of places, of objects, of memories. On each of these pictures is a line of text and a number. If we put them all in order and together, it reads as one simple line. You've been here for 2 decades. James Sunderland has been trapped in Silent Hill for 2 decades, reflecting the themes of repetition and nostalgia. But maybe the most damning evidence of all are the bodies littering the streets of Silent Hill. Mangled, demolished, ruined. But if we look closer, and I do mean very close, we can see that they're all James. The same hair, the same shoes, the same jacket. So, why is he stuck? Why is he in this loop of torment and pain? And is he alone? I think he is stuck because deep down, he wants to be. I mean, of course, he doesn't want to be, but he thinks he deserves it. And in a way, of course he does. The town sees the grief and guilt he carries and builds on that, like a prison built in his own mind. He's here because he wants to be punished for the murder of his wife, for the feelings of anger and resentment towards her in her final days. But is he here alone? I mean, there are other people. Like Angela, Maria, Laura, but are they in the loop as well? We already know that James sees things in his own way. Same for Laura, same for Angela. So maybe all of this looping, all of this returning is just for James. Maybe he did meet them.
Hey, who's there?
It wasn't me.
Years and years ago, and is now only experiencing the memory of them. Like the places he comes across and just stares at them like deja vu. Truly abandoned by everyone and everything, even his mind, leaving only his body to experience the horror as a husk of his former self. So that only leaves this. Can he escape Silent Hill? I like to think that he can. After all, he's still just a man. He feels unbearable guilt and shame for what he'd done, and maybe his curse is to feel it forever, leaving his only way out as suicide, to end his own suffering the way he planned to do it all along, or maybe by facing what he's done and accepting the past, he can finally let go of it. Let go of everything. Let go of Silent Hill.